Perfect. We should be good. All right, cool. So technical difficulties, of course, right? Just being such about it. All right, before I hop in, I just want to thank you so much for the CSA team, the Triangle chapter for having us. Yeah, screen on Zoom. Oh, sorry. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, thank you. All right, cool. All right, perfect. So one more time. Thank you so much, Tech House, for having us. Shankar is so funny because we've had a handful of conferences we've done together at this point. So he finally got a hold of me, and I feel like he got me back with the spicy food. So I'm good to go. I'm up. I'm ready. I'm activated. So we're good. Sweating is not because of your. I don't know, man. I was like, wait a second. This is spicy. So if you see me sweating, just know I'm a little hot. Before I hop into the presentation itself, I just want to say thank you so much for the Cloudflare team coming. Cloudflare guys, if you're here from Cloudflare, raise your hand. You probably scattered around. So those are the superstars behind the madness of me. We also have some good goodies too. So we have a Q&A at the end. Hopefully we have somebody throwing those over there. Yep, somebody's over there. Okay, cool. So yeah, I didn't bring my sock cannon, so you just have throwing in my hand. So cool. Let's talk about the main topic today. So building and securing Gen AI applications with Cloudflare. We do a ton at Cloudflare, and I'm sure a lot of this may be brand new news to you guys. So I'm going to reiterate a lot of these topics, the terms. It may sound like a broken record, but I really want you to understand how things are broken out because AI is not just ChatGPT or Gemini you use. It's more that goes into the technology behind it. All right. So let's talk about the abstract. So if you looked at the overview or the kind of breakdown of what we do, so AI is moving faster than the speed of light. It's moving faster than mobile, cloud, even the internet itself. So the accelerated adoption calls for the new imperatives of the developer. We have to build dynamic and unpredictable tools at the speed of AI, right? So now it's, hey, my developer has to move and do this immediately because we have this AI tool. So with Cloudflare, we're going to bring the power back to you, right? We want to make you back in control of the AI and also have visibility on the AI. All right, so for my agenda, I always don't want to scare people with a lot of agenda items, so we only have two slides and we're going home. Um, but we have two main like halves, right? So the first half is the AI developer tool itself, the platform and how we built it. But before I hop into that part of it, let me just take a step back. So for just general Cloudflare 101, we have four main pillars. If you've ever heard me at any of the conferences with Shankar, I say the same thing. We have four main pillars: application services, network services, zero trust, which is that flyer out there, zero trust, and then the developer platform, specifically the AI developer platform. This is used specifically for developers to build and secure their applications. And then I also have real world success stories. So all this stuff sounds great in theory, but how do we apply it? How can I use it? How can I get my hands on it? How can I get my business to connect to AI? All right, so let's talk about the heart of our discussion. This is AI, right? So the developer platform that we talked about multiple times already now, and understanding how we have this comprehensive suite behind this AI for Cloudflare. So going back to the imperatives, that initial problem statement I put up, there are four main groupings of kind of the issues that most CISOs look for in terms of why AI and what is the problem here. So they're not just technical hurdles, they're more so business inhibitors as well. First, we have the GPUs. These are the powerhouse of AI. This is the physical electricity behind the training for the models, the inferencing of those models, and it's a high demand for them. It's a scarcity for crucial resources, and it's also very expensive, right? This can slow down your development as well as your adoption for scaling at large. Second, we have the multi-cloud architectures. This means moving from one cloud to another or on-prem, off-prem, all that moving, egress fees, right? That's cost for your data going from one place to another. This can obviously be expensive as well. So how can we think about controlling operational costs or OpEx? So most organizations struggle with the lack of visibility even on the usages. It's spiky, it's random, they have no clear insights, but the tool works, but what does it cost us? And last but not least, reducing the cyber risk. So we have AI now giving you more speed, again, speed of light, but also that opens you up for data leaks, for privacy issues, as well as the ever dreaded shadow IT. So now these AI agents can run autonomously with sensitive data potentially. So let's talk about the overall life cycle, the end-to-end kind of circle of life for AI. We have many different things up here that are on the screen. We have the models and the inferencing part of it with training and optimization. But all these things sound great, right? How does that all come together and how does it work? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But the most important part on this screen is the secure part of it. I'm a security-minded first guy, but also you should be as well in your adoption. So overall, outside of this life cycle, we can do everything inside of it, but also secure it as well with what we call a firewall for AI. So let's break down the specific tools, solutions, products that you want to align to each step. For training, we have R2. This is our cloud storage option, our bucket equivalent. I won't name any any competitors, but our advantage is that we have zero egress fees. Zero egress fees. So that provides substantial cost savings for enhanced flexibility for your organizations with multi-cloud architecture. So again, A to B, B to C, that costs money. With R2, we can save that for you. Inferencing. So for inferencing as a whole, we use what we call workers AI. So I know I talked to somebody in the crowd, I won't point them out, about workers. We also have workers AI. This provides the serverless aspect of workers, but also with the GPUs. So GPUs, serverless, workers AI. That's where we can run the AI models and store them in things like Vectorize, which is a vector database, which is used for lookups and embeddings. And we also have AI Gateway for optimization. AI Gateway, Vectorize, and Workers AI all launched in September 2023. So what's that, almost 2 years later? So we see how fast this can change, right? The landscape is changing in every 6 months, I tell people. So quick adoption, and we have a more mature product in the AI space in that regard. AI Gateway also connects your AI connections to applications that you build within Cloudflare. It's a centralized control plane. It also gives you observability, of course, through analytics, so you can control your scalability with caching, with rate limiting. You also can look at performance and make sure that you don't have any dynamic cost, so you can, again, have cost control. And then last but not least, we have the security element with the firewall for AI. This is going to protect you from the malicious bad actors that, of course, are always going to be attacking you, no matter what you think. And this solution is designed for easy configuration as well as operation without impacting your performance and increasing overhead by latency. So let's go a little bit deeper. So we're getting a little bit more, onions peeling back. Here's the look into all of our individual solutions when we come to the developer platform, the AI specific developer platform as well. So first we look at, our overall vision. So I love how Cloudflare says this. Our vision is to have everything, everywhere, all at once, all on one platform. This means that we want to take the compute, storage, media ideas that you use and in the industry and put that into a vacuum sealed box securely within Cloudflare. For compute, we have, again, workers, we have the rate limiting APIs, we have durable objects, we have different workflows we can maintain and manage. In storage, we have R2 buckets, we have what we call queues, which is like batch messaging processing, hyperdrive D1 for databases, even media, so we can store images, we can supercharge our CDN, we can live stream videos, we can do storing of videos, 4K, 120 frames per second for all my video heads. And of course, we have AI offerings. We have Workers AI, AI Gateway, and of course, Vectorize. And beyond these core offerings, our platform, again, is to empower the developer. We want to use things like, as a developer, CI/CD, observability, gradual deployments, A/B testing, and of course, the CLI, right? So all those are what you use every day, and we integrate seamlessly. All right, so if you guys want to take, anything away from what I said, I'm going to tell you a lot today. Anything I say today can be summarized into this one slide. What I mean by that is Gen AI applications, how we build and secure them, all come from these three pillars. First is the build and run. This is anchored by Workers AI. This can be summarized as global AI inferencing as a service. Observe and control. This is managed by AI Gateway, which serves as a central point for observing your AI applications and controlling them. Store and retrieve. This is facilitated by AutoRag. That's a new term. AutoRag, which simplifies the process of RAG for chatbots in 4 distinct steps. And these three pillars are what, again, empower the developer for building, managing, and securing all Gen AI applications. So what is our overall goal? All this sounds great, right? Our goal at Cloudflare is to be the best developer platform to build AI experiences. Again, we want to make this serverless, this managed service, this, offloading of services to a provider that can give you everything you need in one-stop shops. This is Cloudflare and our overall goal. Now let's dive into the first pillar. This is Workers AI. Again, serverless inferencing at global scale. So again, we use our edge for that powerhouse behind the platform. Now, when I say edge, what does that mean? So we are global. We cover region, Earth. And if you know anything about Cloudflare, and again, the four main pillars, majority of those four main pillars run on 330 plus cities, over 600 physical locations, tons of speed. And again, a lot of these AI focused tools are only, what, 2 years old? So within the 2 years, we've already accelerated that to have over half of our GPUs or half of our city coverage with networks with our GPUs. So over 180 cities globally that we cover that with your, again, AI portion of the business. This allows our computations, our models, executables, everything can run right there close to the end user. And this significantly lowers your network latency. And it is a huge fundamental shift from the overall organizational structure of me as the admin having to maintain and manage my own infrastructure. All right, so any developers in the room are going to see this and be like, what is this programming 101, Johnny? Well, I want to call your attention to the middle of the screen. So the most important part about this is as you can see, we can run Workers AI with only a few lines of code, but under that is a very simple, again, TypeScript example. And in the middle, we have Llama. So Meta's Llama model, as some of you may know, is being called as an environment variable that we can use to leverage AI. So we can use it for prompting, we can use it for intelligence, we can use it for conversions. And it's really only one line of code that you're calling in terms of your environment variables to use the actual AI itself. All right, so who is Workers AI for? Who is it suited for? It's suited for someone that needs global scale, managed AI infrastructure. They're sensitive to network latency. They need the speed for real-time applications. They're moving big files, images, or audio. They have, again, spiky usages. So serverless scaling is quick, dynamic, and able to run with you. They care about privacy. So they can process things closer and we can handle things closer to our edge or the in source. We also, cover the need for open source public models. So GPT, Gemini, the, dare I say, DeepSeek of the world. Or if you want to host your own custom private models. So of course, proprietary models are very important so we can save your data from being out in the cloud on somebody's random server. So why choose all that, right? We offer a managed service. So again, you can offload the infrastructure costs to us, offload the complexities to us. We have a globally distributed GPU system. So we're distributed globally, again, 180 plus cities on region Earth. We have a breadth of over 50 models. So any model that you have out there, we have it. Even the new GPT models that just came out 2 weeks ago, we have a partnership with them that has, again, the latest and greatest. And then also we're a part of a unified platform. So again, this is one pillar. We have three other pillars that you can tie into with Cloudflare at large. All right, so I know somebody was thinking, all right, Johnny, where's the agentic model stuff at? Where's the agentic AI? I just learned about that 2 weeks ago, right? So no, agentic AI is also a part of Workers AI. We do that very well too. This is another buzzword that goes around the business about how we can actually use AI to create what we call, I'll say in tech, cron jobs or automated services to have these headless agentic type of models. A couple examples I want to call out here in real world examples is a CRM. An agent can provide in-depth information about prospects or organization structure internally to refine and make processes more smooth. A media team can use AI models to generate music. They can start doing compositions. They can highlight many different multimodal capabilities within their music. And by multimodal, I mean any type of input. So multimodal, meaning files of text, images, videos, documents, right? So we can ingest all that as a learning system for the models themselves. All right, so let's move on to the second pillar, AI Gateway. This is the control panel for your AI applications. So looking at AI Gateway, this functions very similar to our layer 7 products. So DDoS, CDN, cache, firewalling, API, bots. Again, we do a lot. But a lot of that comes from DNS. So if anybody has ever used Cloudflare, the very first thing we always say is connect your DNS, right? Put in your DNS records and come through our proxy. So once you come through our proxy, we call that orange clouding. That is very similar to the AI gateway, right? So the AI gateway is a proxy as well. That proxy is going to unlock what we call prompt and response guardrails, rate limiting, retry request, analytics, logging, full visibility on your AI infrastructure and usages. The primary purpose of it is to mitigate loss and basically ensure that we have the integrity of the AI models and interactions present. And with the observability, again, real-time analytics, detailed logs, cost metrics, you also have the ability to control those costs, right? So I said rate limiting is one example, but also we can facilitate caching of the repeatable, calls to different systems. The same document is being used by the same team in the marketing department, for example, is a good example of that. And also we can cut the cost. So you have the rate limiting, the caching, and the optimization of the speed as well. So who is AI Gateway for? You kind of see a trend here. Who is AI Gateway for? We are for the cost sensitive. So again, the business comes first with AI Gateway. We seek savings through caching. So again, repeatable options are cached at our edge. So we don't have to go back to your backend services and keep pulling requests. We just pull it from our edge and quickly serve dynamically. You want to have centralized control over multiple API providers, excuse me, AI providers. So if you have multi AI providers, again, multi modes, multi languages, we can provide, that singular place for you to come to. You have a granular observability. So some analytics will say customers love to give you just key-based monitoring or, API-based monitoring. One API, one IP is not good enough for analytics these days. You have no clue what attackers are doing. Even if they're spoofing items, you have no clue. So give you deeper insights on that as well. Again, beyond that key-based monitoring, we also have AI API request data. So if people are using the tool, abusing it, you also have that visibility. And also we have high demand or high availability for in-demand models. So if you need to have a fallback for, again, Llama, for example, and then you need to call on a GPT as a backup, we also have that option as well. So redundancy even with the model calling. All right, so let's talk about this prompt injection and sensitive data mitigation. So as you can see, what happens basically is Gen AI creates a kind of wild, wild west of inputs. You may see weird viral videos of people saying, hey, I put, my mom's social security card into AI and now my mom is like, what? So it's like weird, like type of things go into the actual inputs of the models, right? Real sensitive data, people putting personal information, even uploading company data into their own personal computer of ChatGPT. A lot of that is very dangerous. Cloudflare addresses this with, again, two ways within the gateway itself. We have the request validation as well as the response validation. The response, or excuse me, the request validation comes in and checks the response, or request, excuse me, request. Request comes in first, checks the request to make sure that it's sanitized and cleaned for rate limiting purposes, so no abuse, as well as sensitive data detection to check for any type of, again, sensitive data, social security number, license, banking information, financial statuses. And then we also validate the prompt itself to make sure it's a legitimate prompt and not just noise or a botter. The response, so from the LLM to the application back out, it does the same thing. So we sanitize it again with the sensitive data detection, validating to make sure that it's legitimate. And this also basically prevents your LLM from inadvertently generating or exposing sensitive information. So we clean it on the way in to make sure that it's safe, benign, and also makes sense. But also we spit it back out to make sure that we're not exposing you in any kind of way. All right. And so looking at the prompt and response guardrails, very similar to like if you use any other DNS tools or any content categories, the same thing is here with these prompt and response guardrails. What we do is we basically identify any type of unsafe, hazardous, inappropriate prompts and responses. Things like, violent crimes, child exploitation, privacy, hate, self-harm. And what we do is we can flag it or we can block it. So we can, again, put guardrails up to maintain the integrity of your large language models as well as the outputs of those models in your chats. Now, let's talk about auto RAG. And RAG is basically made easy for us. Does anybody know what RAG stands for? Sock question on the spot. You're mumbling, hold on.
Augmentation generation.
I feel like there was multiple people. You might as well get some socks too. I see you over there, you said it, but yeah. So RAG. RAG is retrieval augmented generation. Even though you guys were scared to say it, I heard you. And auto RAG basically is the auto version of it. So basically, we automated the process of even building that out. So if any of you guys have ever tried to build a RAG, it's multi steps, right? It's multiple sources, multiple things you have to call on, database you have to build. We package all that for you within Cloudflare. So what happens is, and I'll read this like word for word because it's very important. So RAGs basically fix a very frustrating problem with large language models. Has anybody ever, I'll say by hands, has anybody ever put something in a ChatGPT or Gemini and said, hey, this is like 2 years old. This is not accurate information. This guy's still alive. Why is he putting in information that's wrong? Right? So what we call those are hallucinations or basically outdated information. So some of the earlier iterations of ChatGPT, for example, only went up to 2024. So basically you're getting a year old worth of data. Now with AutoRag, this is what happens. So AutoRag works by retrieving facts from an external knowledge base, and RAG will ground your LLM or large language model on accurate, up-to-date information, enabling them to provide precise, context-aware responses from proprietary data sources. So I say all that to say, once you basically set up your RAG, you're able to have reliable, updated, and current information for your LLM to process. There is no outdated model. There is no outdated information from your auto RAG system. Now, auto RAG happens in 4 clicks. You might not be able to see that at the very top here. I'll read it out loud as well. But first, we're going to do connecting the data source. This is your R2 bucket or any other bucket type that you want to have your file stored and read from. For example, you may have some documentation, again, knowledge bases, PDFs. You can generate your indexes after that. So AutoRag automatically creates a vector database. So we start creating the vectors, we start giving the scores, we start building out the embeddings. And then from there, we configure retrieval and generation. So you have full control over how it's pulled and pushed, right? We can put like models literally in between both segments. This allows for fine tuning for your favorite LLM or for your favorite model of the LLM that can basically adjust to your type of content from the storage buckets themselves. And then you just finalize. You just read your summary and then you're all set up. The cool thing about AutoRag 2 is that on creation, so you have a one-click database already set up. You have a one-click connection to your data source. You have a built-in integration with AI Gateway just off of creating it. So we automatically create that within Gateway as a visible item. This also significantly lowers the technical aptitude needed to create an auto RAG system. So I could give the keys to you guys to basically build out a ChatGPT like system for your business with 4 clicks. All right, so who is auto RAG for? So AutoRag is for those who are building RAG applications who need context-aware answers. If you're tired of having old, outdated information and or you want to have a reliable, private, proprietary place to store information, but also read from it quickly, RAG is going to be perfect for you. Also, you're leveraging Cloudflare systems. So if you ever need to add on, again, 3 other main pillars, if you ever need to build out anything at different layers of the OSI model, or you need to build other additional applications, you have Cloudflare to integrate seamlessly. And of course, like everything else, if you're cost sensitive, we can bring down the cost with the auto rack system because we're alternatively better than a competitor, Pinecone. So yeah. And so looking at the tech itself, I mean, step by step of how it works. I won't go too into the weeds on this just because you guys can obviously read it. But the one thing I want to talk about here is the very first step. So the rewriting query part that's optional. You also have full control over how you can basically ingest the data. So for example, somebody may ask, hey, do you guys have a knowledge doc for a BMW 7 Series engine? And you can basically ingest that as BMW 7 Series a manual PDF or something. You can ingest it basically to train the model to understand how to easily read and digest the information. Again, optional. But once that happens, you have your embeddings. So the embeddings basically pick out keywords, your vectors, your scores, all in a database. And then we chunk it together basically. Once we chunk it together, that metadata and those chunks come together and give you relevant outputs for the model and the training itself. So over time, not only does it give you dynamic updates, but also the model learns, right? The model knows, hey, I've seen this chunk before. They asked about the BMW 2 days ago. Okay, let me give this. Okay, they asked about that 2 days ago. Okay, a day ago. All right, so now there's is learning again how you do with ChatGPT, and you have those sticky sessions where you talked about something from 2 weeks ago, and it spits it out even quicker now with this learning model. All right, so now that we've covered the core components of Cloudflare's AI developer platform, let's talk about example use cases. Some of these I kind of covered already, but again, multimodal. So everything you see is multimodal. This is, again, for all of our AI systems. We're not confined to one box of file types. We can ingest really anything you would like, even down to JavaScript and pure code with text files as well. And also, the thing too is that a very common use case is for large processing of databases and information. So if you have regular use cases of needing to look at knowledge bases, looking at data for regular auditing, so huge auditing benefits there, as well as if you're generating content. So we can, again, generate images, videos, text, and pretty much speed up those entire processes. One thing too that I like about these use cases is that we're able to automate all these systems, right? So yes, we're adding speed, adding more ties to more proprietary information, but also you're getting summaries back from, again, jobs and documents that took you years and days to go through. Even quarterly business reviews that may have been more of a headache to understand how your snapshots are looking without fully having to read everything, right? We can now process huge documents and then streamline it for you. Again, proprietary and fully vacuum sealed and private. All right, so let's talk about the compelling customer use cases, and then we'll open up for Q&A. All right, so really cool use case. I will play the video if I had another 30 minutes, but I don't. So this is what I'll say. This is cool because Syndix is an AI deal sourcing platform. They built their whole platform off of AI, right? And one of their challenges is that they were faced with high cost and summarizing company information, and they're managing the models. And again, models change literally every couple of weeks. And what happened was is that they were struggling with maintaining everything. It was more about spending money and trying to burn through the GPUs and the usages and their own self-contained vacuums. But by leveraging Workers AI, they resulted in, speeding that up. They were able to embed, get the summaries of company data. AI Gateway was caching repeated responses, and they achieved a remarkable 98% of AI inferencing cost savings. The platform also was able to observe over 3 billion monitor requests. So they not only took the visibility, but also they flipped it. They actually were able to monetize their AI summaries to their consumers. So it's almost like a double, win-win for them, right? They were able to, one, protect everything, learn more, but also, hey, can we monetize this? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. So then they took it to the next level to accelerate their business as well, right? So again, we want to empower you as the developers to also get the benefits too. Next, we have Wope. This is a AI SEO consultant. So kind of similar use case in terms of request volume. They had 500 million requests. Inferencing cost was, basically driving them in the red year after year. And they implemented Workers AI to work on these SEO processes as well as summaries. And this resulted in a clear $30,000 savings for the year, and also the ability to serve 500 million requests within a few weeks of the AI itself, as well as the gateway system to provide, again, speeds as also visibility and cost savings. And then last two slides is that we as Cloudflare take pride in our projects and products. I always say this to customers when they say, hey, do you guys use anything like this internally? Yes, we do. We use all of our solutions internally. We are happy to dog food everything. We're happy to A/B test, alpha test, beta test. And especially as engineers, I always get my hands on the things first to try it out for you guys. And one example of that is with Stream. So I said Stream earlier. Stream is our video platform. You can store, you can do video on demand, you can spin up your own YouTube replacement. We have many content creators that have their own website and application with streaming as well. And on average, what we've seen from captioning itself, Captioning by manual usages or services takes 5 to 10x the video length. So a 10-minute video can take about 50 to 100 minutes to do manually. With auto captioning with Workers AI under the hood, it takes about 12 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. So a 1.2 to 1.5 video length audio captioning system that speeds up about 80% of your overall processing time. So you can start churning out more videos for your marketing team. Another example of that is AI, or excuse me, Cloudflare images. How many times have you had to crop an image because it's too much going on? It's not focused on the subject. And what we do here is you have to pull out your phone and drag and drop and kind of squeeze and figure out what's going on. That may take, on average, we've seen about 30 seconds, right? Doesn't seem painstakingly bad, but with, again, the AI cropping feature, click, 1 second is done, right? So we now have cut that into a 30-second job down to 1 to 2 seconds. So about 90%, 96% time saved. All right. So with that, I want to say, first of all, thank you so much again for having me. One thing, well, two things I want to point out, well, really three things actually. Three things I want to point out is obviously you guys can reach out to me on LinkedIn, but when we talk about all of the information from Cloudflare, I know it was a lot of information, and of course I want to have the Q&A, but two main, I'll say Cloudflare kind of Bibles is the blog. So the blog tells you literally everything I talked about, like full transparency. So if we need to talk about individual responses to issues that we may have. We have postmortems, we have the blog features, we have even things we're experimenting on, like that may be even alpha testing. We may say, hey, we're working on some small containerized stuff in Workers, which I advise you guys to look up, containers, that we're working on. It's in private beta, but how do you get access to it, right? You can email us, get access to it, fill out request forms, and learn more about Cloudflare from the blog itself. Again, all Cloudflare is through the blog. And then for the tech people in the room, we have the developer documentation. This is where you can learn about, the A to Z of setting up the processes for all I talked about. So everything step by step with screenshots and guides. And also, if you just want to read about kind of, case studies or architectural diagrams, we have all that within the developers platform as well. So yeah, again, thank you so much. Q&A time. And also I'll get my socks so I can start throwing them to you guys. Yes.
Just to be clear, so the developers platform, we would love it, obviously, if people develop their AI applications on our platform. But the security side of the business, just so you know, a lot of the security tools that you mentioned throughout, your AI application, we could sit between your application and provide some of those same AI security tools. So an AI firewall, AI gateway, we provide all of that same insight into your applications, who's doing what kind of requests, what information they're getting back. So we can sit between you and your application as well if you don't develop our platform. Certainly we love you. I just want to kind of make that clarification. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be developed on our platform to be able to provide some of that security.
Yeah, and I'll add some color to that too. So back to what he was saying, like I said, the proxy is all Cloudflare, right? So that proxy piece can be for individual solutions. Again, if you want to come to us and say, hey, we have a more fixed item outside of the developer platform, definitely look at our layer 7 protections. We also have layer 4 and 3 protections. So like the Magic Suite is really good for networking. But we can really allocate, that protection apart from, just AI itself. Yes.
Johnny, someone asked a question. Could you please repeat it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I get,
You mentioned ChatGPT, and you guys support Claude.
yes, we do. So we support all of the major. Oh, sorry. Do we support ChatGPT or Claude? Excuse me. Yeah. So we do. We support all of the latest and greatest. So again, like ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek. We even have the new, like I said, the new OpenAI, open weight connections as well. For the open weight people that don't know what that means, is that OpenAI has now partnered with Cloudflare to basically provide ease of use to locally owning your own kind of models, right? So the open weight part basically puts on commercial grade models on your system. Yep, and Llama, yep, and Llama 2 as well. Yep. Yes.
So, because if you see the AI, right, one is one of the major issues with respect to the cost. I think you are handling through this Cloudflare developer platform, right? Whatever the security, because you mentioned something R2 storage. So is it your proprietary storage or underneath you are using S3 or Azure Blob Storage or something?
No, that's our proprietary storage. So he was asking is R2 our proprietary storage and how is it secure? Yes, so R2 is our proprietary storage. It's basically our S3 competitor directly. A lot of our workers platforms and storages are under R2. We also have like things like advanced caching that we use that are one-to-one bolted on with R2, but that is our proprietary storage. Yeah, yes, fully encrypted. And also, if you ever want to migrate, we have a S3 API that can move you from S3 all the way over to R2. But yes, fully encrypted, fully controlled, and also like even me as an engineer, I can't even see your R2 bucket as well.
One follow-up question on this auto RAG, right? We are using RAG because we have some confidential data which we can use in company specific data, right?
Yep.
So when you're talking about auto RAG, is it on your platform or we can use on other?
Yeah, so he asked if AutoRag was on our platform fully or if the data sources can be external to Cloudflare. Yes, so AutoRag basically is just like a broker for that information. So when we talk about connecting to data source, that's your proprietary information. We're just a broker in terms of how we communicate with that, right? So the AutoRag is the, we'll say, chatbot in front of that. Behind that is your proprietary systems that we just connect into securely. But we don't like say, hey, you have to bring all your stuff to us and we take it over. No.
When I am giving the prompt, when the response comes, right? You take that response to your platform or
Correct.
it stays along with the customer?
It depends. So if you want like the AI gateway functionality as well, that will go through our platform for sanitation. If you wanted to be like more transparent, we can do more transparent direct to connections to your for your data source.
If the response contains some sensitive data, I don't want that moved to your
Yep.
platform where it might be a risk, right?
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say too, another thing that we have is the fully encrypted model too. So if you wanted to have, again, fully encrypted, vacuum sealed, just Cloudflare again is a tunnel directly to each piece. We also have that as well. So we have like HIPAA compliance, PCI compliant customers that ask for that same encryption, right? So we're never exposing or having some data in transit that's like basically open or exposed. Everything's fully encrypted end to end. Good question.
Non-technical on side of that, you talked about CRM, just do you have your own set of pipelines that you pull them, or do you pull another one, like things like that, to give people options?
So he asked about CRMs and how we have different pipelines or connections to those. So
Sales pipeline.
yeah, so for the sales pipelines, so that was more so for like a CRM customer. So it's still, I'll say early stage. But what I've seen from CRMs is that they bring or export some of that data to us, and then we digest it through that data source. It's not like a direct connection yet. However, we do have two. I can't remember the names of them right now, but two basically beta versions that can pull from like AI crawlers and also additional integrations for specific tools. So that's like the ultimate iteration to have, hey, full direct integration with a CRM, for example, and then we can pull that data down.
The AI proxy or AI gateway tool they know. The AI gateway tool offers that sounds like a very good offer.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
But all of the different types of categories that you're give are coded. What if I want some type of information I don't want? Or you might not want to leave it like an option security control on that.
For the data flow?
AI gateway, the second code.
So he asked if the AI gateway was pretty much configurable or was it pre-built based off of the data flow? Are you asking about like the sensitive data itself or what part of the AI gateway are you looking to modify?
The query itself has sensitive information. If the query were to go to the LM, they would extract sensitive information. You guys already have the safety.
Correct.
A way I say
Yes. Oh, yes. So yes, you can. So is there a custom rule available for sensitive data in the transport of the AI gateway? Yes. So yes, it is. So sensitive data detection is an extension of what we call our kind of managed WAF system. So yes, you can. So we have basically customized areas where you can customize how sensitive it is, what sensitivity is. Is it specific parts of it? Is it I think the pre-canned part of it is like AI or API keys, code bases. So if you have like, sensitive Python that you don't want to be extracted, some of those are kind of pre-built, but we also have like customized abilities as well.
I'm just curious, Cloudflare guy here. How many people in the room, show of hands, have ever worked with Cloudflare as far as like a personal, on a personal level, on a professional level, so maybe, I don't know, maybe 20%, 15%, something like that. Okay, well, I'm just curious.
Small businesses,
Yeah.
Yeah, so he basically asked about the entry for basically for using these services, are they free or other plans. So the good thing about, I'll say AI specifically and a lot of our solutions in general, you can try them today for free. So I'll say this too, it's really cliche, but I love saying it, is Cloudflare is focused on building a better internet, right? So we want to give you resources to give you out the ground today. So if you want to go home and say, I want to try this out, what Johnny told me today, all this stuff is available for some level of free tier. We also have what we call our kind of self-service plans where you can do like business and pro and things of that nature for a monthly fee. But as you scale and grow, of course, me and the other guys in the room probably would say go enterprise. But in all seriousness, you definitely can, try some of this stuff today. There's no gate in terms of actually trying out the solution. Yeah, so I'll say specifically for the workers developer, excuse me, the AI developer and the developer platform, that's all set for like basically give you like the free included, amounts will say, let's just say like 100,000 requests for your actual job or your code base. Then from there it's consumption based. So you can have like, $5 per or whatever. I'm not the pricing guy, so don't quote me. But it is definitely consumption based in that regard. But once you again get the higher usages, we want to point you to a higher tier.
So is it request based or token based? Because the AI, when you are running something like that, right, it is based on the tokens.
Yep. So is it token based or request based? Yeah, so it could be either or depending on the tool, we have specific pricing for that. But what I will say is that typically it's the request itself that we mostly look for, but it could be token based depending on the APIs or the calls. Also, thank you for asking that. Another thing too is that with all of what we talked about, the AI gateway, the AI developer platform, again, the other three main pillars, application security, network services, zero trust, all the dashboard stuff is 100% flexible with our API. So if you use Cloudflare, you have the ability to do API calls for easy change and configuration. And we also support Terraform. So you can do full deployments with Terraform as well. For all of like the DevOps and, teardowns buildups.
Probably a different talk, but just touch on the MCP server security. What do you guys do in that space?
Yeah, so we have a direct integration with Claude, actually. So glad you brought that up. Claude is one of our first partnerships with the MCP servers. For a little bit of context, you can have your own MCP server external to Cloudflare that we can help, deploy through Workers. Workers is literally our serverless platform that's agnostic for majority of common code bases. So again, serverless compute at the edge. And with that, we can basically have a direct integration. So Claude, you can go in and say, hey, let me do a tie-in to Cloudflare's MCP server. We'll just say Johnny's MCP. And, obviously you get your API or not API, but your credentials and your keys obviously have to go through first. But once that's securely connected, you can use that MCP server as a kind of focus point for your jobs. So you can actually call on it as an environment variable, for example, to pull down for LLMs or processing.
Does it support the public MCP server as well as the custom MCP servers what I am developing?
Correct. Yes. Supports both. Yep. So we can tie into public and private for the most part for across the board. As long as we have some level of obviously authenticated safe way to connect to it, which we pretty much can, we're good to have that end-to-end connection.
I'm just asking this question for the song.
On the way.
Can you talk a little bit about if you are let's say deploying in Bedrock or SageMaker and all, so how does all this play into that? It's just at a high level, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so it can happen two different ways. So I'll say if you already have like a huge application, or not huge, but like let's say you have sorry, the question was like for a SageMaker, Bedrock, all the kind of applications that you may want to roll out. How does that roll into the Cloudflare involvement piece? So basically we have different ways to roll out your applications. So if you're coming to us wanting to kind of build from the ground up, we can do it obviously through Workers and kind of the whole platform. We also have something called pages. So if you have like, if anybody has ever used like Vercel, We basically have an equivalent with Cloudflare Pages. So we can call or pull down from your GitHub repository and literally deploy the full stack application directly from GitHub in a direct integration. So that's kind of an option in terms of how you want to roll out, but it just depends on how much dev you've already done and how much we can help you with. So if you already developed something, Pages more likely is better, but we also can do the workers and kind of the manual process as well.
Is there a way to deploy these works in like in the edge? And by deploying it to the edge, like interconnect these workloads with other sites using like a backbone that went to the public internet?
When you say connect, what do you mean by connect?
Just using like a private backbone instead of using the internet to interconnect the works.
Yeah, so so the question was, can we connect to like basically a private connection to our backbone to have like interconnects? Yes, we can. So within our globalized network, we have again 300 plus different cities we have, but also we work with all the major interchange providers. So we can do physical connections. We have a couple different ways we can do that. But we basically have network interconnects that we can use to tie in that private connection from site to site. So depending on how you want to do that, if you want to do it just for layer 7 or you want to do it for layer 3 and 4 with networking, we can tie in directly to your provider or your data center with some physical hardware and then kind of get that connected to the broader Cloudflare network privately.
Is it compatible to all the CSPs like AWS, Azure?
Yes, it is. We also have, I don't want to start naming people, but we also have like Equinix connections as well. So typically what happens is we just double check where you want to have it connected, and then we kind of broker the connection of the CNI and where it should be at. CNI being the Cloudflare connected network interconnect. All right, any other questions? All right.
You have some additional socks and just in time.
Yeah, I was gonna tell everybody just to come get the socks. Yeah,
Bright orange.
it's like the slow motion